Always happy to have a State Rep Duran stop by. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Oh, regular. Good enough.
Good enough?
Well, it's June. I suppose now are all the schools out. I mean, the school is out.
Bemidji
for
was
summer.
the last one yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, they got out yesterday, yes.
So the definition of summer, not yet, but in everybody's brain, especially if you're a kid, summer started today.
It's kind of nice. My kids actually have been off for a couple weeks now. They go to St. Philip's here
Oh,
now,
sure.
So,
So there's like all kinds of different.
yep.
But no more yellow school bus.
No.
Well, there could be some out there for summer programs, but you've been working,
Trying to, yes.
and then hoping to go back and get some more work done, or
Yeah, we got a special session here looming in the days here coming soon, but we'll see how everything goes. The governor hasn't called us back yet, but we haven't been able to get our job done in the regular session, so now we have to get a special session going on.
right? That's how it works.
I'm no mathematician. I'm no bean counter. But how does the state go from such a surplus not all that long ago to such a big deficit?
You are correct on that. The massive spending in the last biennium is just astronomical, which I mean by that is $18 billion surplus just was spent. They ended up raising taxes by $10 billion as well. So that's just astronomical. And we're at a looming deficit coming up here. So a $6 billion deficit is what we're looking at. So
That's a $24 billion swing.
that happened in the last biennium. And they continue to want to spend. I can tell you that right now. Last biennium was controlled by the Democrats. It was a Democratic trifecta, and they went on a spending spree like you wouldn't believe. And obviously, we're looking at a deficit here. So how do you go from an $18 billion surplus? And so that surplus was a little bit of federal funding as well.
Sure.
So we can't necessarily say that it all necessarily came from the state. So we have to be realistic with that. But to outspend yourself by $6 billion is pretty.
The rest of us can't do that.
No,
Right, no.
No, you have a budget and you have to stay within the means of your budget, right? So I think the state of Minnesota should as well.
You hear a lot from local government, cities, counties. You hear a lot from school districts of unfunded mandates. I understand that there are going to be things that, times change.
Yes.
Rules and regulations have to change.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, what is the state's duty to help out everyone else?
Well, my opinion or some
Yours.
other people's opinion, my opinion is that we should be a supporter of our local government here. I'm a big supporter of small government. I do not want the state of Minnesota coming in here and telling everybody what to do on a local level as what they have been doing for such a long time. I want to push everything through. There's a lot of stuff coming from the state of Minnesota that's kind of that big government mentality of, hey, let's bully people around and let's just almost beat them into submission, right? I don't believe in that. I believe that I should be here supporting our local government as much as possible, which means helping them out where I can, but not also supporting local mandates that are going to push our levy to be raised by double digits now. It's just, we have 25% of our land that's taxable inside Beltrami County. That's huge.
Not much.
Right.
That is huge. Right? So now we have stuff we got to do. We have bills we got to pay.
That's right.
And where are we going to get this money from? And how are we going to continue to keep raising taxes on people around here? It's we can't keep doing this. We can't keep going down this road. But the thing is that there's particular people on the other side of the aisle that just say, don't worry about it. We'll just raise your taxes to pay for our bills. It's okay. Well, I'm just going to just take more money away from the people that don't have enough money to pay
Right.
for a lot of things to begin with. Where's our mentality here? Where are we going with this?
Sounds like we need a Doge in
Oh, I would support
Minnesota.
Well, think about the fraud, right? You have $250 million in Feeding Our Future, and now we're finding more and more
Right.
fraud within our state government right now that's happening. This has happened under the Walz administration. what are we doing here, guys? I mean, I hope that everybody doesn't take my word for it. They go in there, they dig around, they look for all this stuff. They want to figure this out for themselves. But this is a huge thing. We cannot continue to do this because that's our hard-earned tax dollars just going to some other fraudulent organization. It doesn't make us...
Or certainly programs that need some reforming and certainly some scope to see where and if dollars are needed. But there's a lot of taxes in Minnesota. I think we're right behind California, correct?
Oh yeah, we're top tier here. We're in the
not in a good way.
Not in a good way. No, we are not. We are not in a good spot for taxes for our people. Everybody's feeling it right now. Everybody, and there wasn't too long ago that some of the Democrats on the other side of the aisle had mentioned, hey, we have bills to pay, so we'll just take the money from the people. So they want to increase the taxes already. They came out and said, if we were in charge again, we would take your tax money. We would take more and more. And it's like, whoa.
Well, they can't handle that. The eggs only came down a couple bucks, right? And everybody's just breathing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that. So, well, that's how things work out, and is people having to have talk or debate or... Well, I'm glad that you guys have to go back to work.
It's actually kind of sad that we have to go back to work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we shouldn't have to be paying out this money for a special session to go on just because of the fact that we can't figure ourselves out and work on these bills. And right now it's tough because there are some hard lines in the sand that were drawn on, I would say both sides here. So sure. We got to be even. And, one of the things that we got to look at it too is, we're looking at not funding healthcare for illegal immigrants. That's huge. That's going to save us $600 million.
Right. That's something that we can all agree on.
Well, how about we take that money and give it to the actual Minnesotans? Right, the Minnesotans that have been living here for a while.
Or not take that money.
Or not take that money, But we can also take that money and invest it in people that need that care here, irregular Minnesotans here. Let's put the money back into the people who actually live here and who are actually, building our communities every day. And, this is it's a huge thing. So we gotta...
Well, it slows commerce, and who wants to open a business where there's high taxes? And it'll be a struggle. You'll look for other places, because most of your tax come from the business person, because they have their business tax, they own the property, their property taxes, and then, their home, and then they're paying to live as well. Double. So those are the people you want in your state. We have a lot of them here, but the higher that goes up, I mean, you see they're leaving California, they're leaving Washington, San Francisco. Just too hard to make business. And then if you don't have that base, it goes downhill quickly from there.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And we need to start paying attention to this too, because some of the things that are pushing these people out of these other states are the same things that are pushing people out of the state of Minnesota. And if we continue on the road that we are, and we don't want to jump off this path that we're on, we're going to start pushing more and more people out. We are losing more people than we're gaining right now because of the state of Minnesota. We are taxing people like crazy. Mm-hmm. We just think, you make it, so we'll just take it.
It's pretty cool to live in North Dakota now.
It's not. I lived there. No, it's not. Lived in South Dakota, lived in Iowa, too. No, it's not.
You want how much of my money?
Bidal, there had to be some good things that happened in the session. Some things good for northern Minnesota, your district. What are you most proud of?
Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you guys some of the committees that I was on and where my passions are. Obviously, since I was in law enforcement for almost 12 years, that's a big part of my life. So I've been put on the public safety board. So we were able to fund a lot of good things within there, some training for the peace officers, some UAV stuff inside there, and making sure that we, as a whole, legislation are supporting our officers right now, because we are low. Our numbers are so low within the state of Minnesota right now because we're not really a cop-friendly environment. We support our law enforcement up here, but you go down to the cities or you go closer down there, that's a different beast down there. That's terrible. So changing the mindset and making sure that we have the ability to show our local law enforcement that we support them every single day, because those are the guys running into the fray. Those are the guys are the ones that are going to those places that no one wants to go. So we need to make sure that we're giving these guys as much as we can and supporting them as wherever we can, how we can. It just needs to happen. And that's been one of my biggest things that I feel like I'm doing here, is bringing that support back and telling everybody that I possibly can that, hey, do you want to go, into these places? Do you want? Yeah. Do you want to go to deal with some of the things that we deal with? See the sites that some of that we have to deal with. That weighs a lot on people, and it takes a special person to be in law enforcement to begin with. So we need to show them as much support as possible. We need to make sure that we're jumping out there and giving these guys the best we can whenever we can. So then, veterans. I'm on the veterans committee as well. So we're able to support all the veteran houses in the state. So we gave a lot of money out to make sure the veteran homes are financially taken care of, which is really good, because obviously we just got that one in Bemidji. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that they're all funding and making sure that we have good care for our veterans there. One of the things that we were really pushing this session, which I think is a huge thing, was we increased the suicide awareness for veterans this go around. We gave a lot of money to them. We're expecting Veteran Affairs Office to come up with a really good plan to help fight and combat the veteran suicide, because we don't know, this affects 100 veterans a year within Minnesota. That's huge.
100 too many.
Oh, whoa. One is too many, but we need to look at that and say, okay, so how do we change this? What do we do? What are some of the things that we've done for the past 10 years that haven't worked? Let's adapt to the situation that we have and figure out some new ways that we can actually go out there and put a big curve on this here and fight that. But we're, what else here? We have some good things in housing. So our housing budget, I don't know if you guys quite know this, but it's $184 million for fiscal year 2026 and 2027, excuse me. And then for 2028 and 2029, it's $166 million, with $50 million in housing infrastructure bonds, and then $4 million plus in debt services. So we really took what we have for issues here for housing within the state of Minnesota, and we started trying to apply it where it's needed to, and getting some resources to those places or something that's going to be really good for us. Now, the good thing is that we had agriculture, housing, legacy, public safety, state governments, veterans, and human service policy bills done for the year. So we got those done. That's good.
Right? But there's some major ones that need some work.
Well, yeah, now the bills that aren't done, which are capital investment, commerce, education, energy, environment, health and children and family, higher education, taxes, transportation, workforce and labor, education and policy.
Can't kick those cans.
Wow. So, let's put a little cherry on top of that. These are some big bills that had some really big sticking points within the state government. And, being this having this being my first year and seeing kind of how things work down there, it's definitely eye-opening. You never really know. You can talk to people about about
dysfunction
that goes on there, but once you actually jump in there and you start realizing what the heck is going on, sometimes it's just like, wow, how did we get here? But then it's like, well, now I know how we got here. Yeah. Just look at it. So
talk it through. Well,
yeah.
Certainly come and update us before after the next session?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we do this a little bit more here, guys, so we can give you guys some more updates. And, hopefully it's talk. Don't put this in stone here yet, but we might get called back for a special session next week.
Well, let's hope so.
That's the soonest that I've heard that we're going to get called back. Walls is taking a tour around the country again instead of actually coming back here and helping us solve this issue. We're looking at a $6 billion deficit again, and here we go. We got our governor out doing tours in other states and not working on the bills that we have here. So we have to try to figure something out, guys. So I appreciate that, and thank you very much for having me.
You bet, buddy.
People would like to use you as a sounding board. How can they get a hold of you?
Oh, they can email me at rep.bidal, Bidal, .duran at house.mn.gov. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Just type it out. Bidal, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, guys.
Good morning. It's 8:22.